Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you about something that separates those who merely dream from those who achieve. It's the grind, the commitment to consistency, the idea that every day, every single day matters. No days off, just grind. Now, here's the truth: success doesn't take breaks, so neither should you. Every morning when you wake up, you're handed a set of opportunities. These opportunities are wrapped up in the decisions you make from the moment you step out of bed. Whether you're pursuing a business venture, working on your health, or improving your skills, progress happens daily. Not once a week, not when you feel like it, but every day. Because you don't build a life of excellence by working sporadically. You build it by showing up day in and day out, even when you don't want to. Consistency is what makes greatness possible. Imagine planting a seed in the ground. You can't water it once and walk away, hoping for a harvest. No, you've got to tend to it regularly. You nurture it, you give it attention. You grind at it, and only then, after days, weeks, even years, do you see the fruit of your labor. The same principle applies to your life. If you want results, you've got to commit to the process, even when it's inconvenient, even when you're tired, even when things aren't going your way. That's the grind. It doesn't care about your feelings, it cares about your actions. It's the small, disciplined efforts repeated daily that create massive outcomes. Now, let's face it. There will be days when it seems like the grind isn't paying off. You'll question if it's all worth it. Let me tell you this, that's exactly when most people give up. Most people stop right before the breakthrough. They take a day off, then two, and before they know it, they've lost momentum. But if you can push through those moments of doubt and frustration, you'll find that's where your real growth happens. You see, it's not about working yourself into the ground. It's about building habits that keep you in motion. No days off means developing a mindset that says, I'm moving forward today no matter what. Some days you'll move an inch, other days a mile. But you keep moving, you keep grinding, because you know that over time, those small steps add up to something extraordinary. The grind is what separates the dreamers from the doers. So when you feel like giving up, remind yourself why you started. Think about the future you're working towards and ask yourself, what could I accomplish if I refused to take a day off from my goals? Consistency is often regarded as one of the most powerful tools in the pursuit of success, yet it's also one of the most underestimated. People dream of achieving great things, setting lofty goals, and imagining a future filled with abundance, personal fulfillment, and achievement. However, the gap between dreams and reality is often found in the daily habits, routines, and practices that many overlook. Consistency is what bridges that gap. It's what transforms aspirations into accomplishments, and it's what separates those who merely wish from those who achieve. To understand why consistency is the foundation of success, we need to delve into its nature, its impact, and how it transforms effort into progress over time. At its core, consistency is the act of repeating actions, thoughts, or behaviors on a regular basis, regardless of circumstances. It's easy to start something with enthusiasm and excitement, but maintaining that drive over a long period of time is what truly defines consistency. Success is not a one-time event, nor does it come from a single grand gesture. It comes from the accumulation of small, seemingly insignificant actions performed day after day, week after week. This is where the real magic lies, not in sudden bursts of effort, but in the steady, disciplined approach that consistency fosters. Consistency eliminates the volatility of motivation. Motivation is fleeting. It's often triggered by external factors, a powerful speech, an inspiring story, or a sudden burst of energy, but it rarely sustains itself. Relying solely on motivation is a recipe for inconsistency. Some days you feel inspired to work harder and push beyond your limits. Other days you feel drained, tired, and unmotivated. This is where consistency takes the lead. When you build consistency into your life, you no longer depend on how you feel in the moment. You've trained yourself to follow through with your commitments, regardless of your emotional state. It becomes second nature, a part of your routine. Whether you're excited or exhausted, you show up, you do the work, and you keep moving forward. This is especially true in the pursuit of long-term goals. Imagine a marathon runner who only trains when they feel like it, or a musician who only practices when they're in the mood. Their progress would be sporadic at best. Success in any field requires a commitment to showing up, to doing the work even when it's not glamorous or exciting. Over time, this builds momentum. Each day you show up, you're adding another layer to your foundation. You're building skills, habits, and resilience. You're laying down the bricks that will eventually create the pathway to your success. One of the reasons consistency is so effective is because it taps into the power of compounding. Just as compound interest grows wealth over time, consistent actions compound to create significant results. The first few days, weeks, or even months of working toward a goal might seem like nothing is happening. This can be discouraging for many, leading them to give up prematurely. But this is a misunderstanding of how progress works. The initial stages of consistency are often invisible to the naked eye. Progress is slow, incremental, and often hard to measure, but like the roots of a tree growing deep underground, these small, consistent actions are laying the foundation for something much bigger. Over time, these actions begin to compound, and what once seemed like insignificant progress suddenly becomes a massive leap forward. And consider the example of physical fitness. If you work out for one day, you won't see any noticeable difference in your physique. Even a week of workouts might not yield significant changes. However, if you consistently exercise for 6 months, the results will be undeniable. The muscles will grow stronger, endurance will improve, and physical appearance will change. The same principle applies to any area of life, whether it's learning a new skill, building a business, or improving relationships. The key is to understand that the most significant changes come not from one monumental effort, but from small, consistent actions repeated over time. Consistency also builds trust not only with others, but with yourself. When you consistently follow through on your promises and commitments, people learn to rely on you. They know that you will deliver, that you are dependable. This is invaluable in any professional or personal relationship. But perhaps more importantly, consistency builds self-trust. Every time you set a goal and take daily action toward it, you're proving to yourself that you're capable. You're reinforcing the belief that you have what it takes to succeed. This builds confidence, and confidence fuels further action. It creates a positive feedback loop, where consistent action leads to progress, progress leads to confidence, and confidence leads to even more consistent action. On the other hand, inconsistency breeds doubt. When you start something but fail to follow through, you undermine your own belief in yourself. You begin to doubt your ability to achieve your goals, and this doubt becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Inconsistency sends the message that you're not serious about your goals, that you don't have the discipline to stick with them. Over time, this erodes your sense of self-efficacy, the belief that you can control your outcomes through your actions. This is why consistency is so critical to success. It's not just about what you achieve, it's about who you become in the process. Each day of consistent action strengthens your character, builds your discipline, and sharpens your focus. Another powerful aspect of consistency is its ability to turn goals into habits. When you consistently perform a task over time, it becomes ingrained in your daily routine. This removes the need for willpower or motivation because the behavior becomes automatic. You no longer have to think about whether you should do it, you just do it. This is incredibly powerful because willpower is a finite resource. If you rely on willpower alone to achieve your goals, you'll eventually run out. But when you turn your actions into habits, you conserve your willpower for other decisions. This is why people who are consistent seem to achieve so much more. They've automated the actions that lead to success. However, consistency is not about perfection. It's important to understand that being consistent doesn't mean you never falter or make mistakes. Everyone has off days, and setbacks are a natural part of any journey. The difference is that consistent people don't let these setbacks derail them. They get back on track quickly because they've built the habit of showing up. One bad day doesn't turn into a bad week, and one misstep doesn't lead to giving up. This resilience is a byproduct of consistency. The more you practice consistency, the more you develop the mental and emotional toughness to handle challenges and setbacks. Consistency also brings clarity. When you consistently work toward a goal, you gain a deeper understanding of what's working and what's not. You can adjust your approach, refine your strategy, and make improvements along the way. This is something that sporadic efforts simply can't achieve. When you're inconsistent, you're constantly starting over, which means you're never able to build the momentum needed to gain insights and make meaningful progress. Consistency allows you to stay in the game long enough to learn from your experiences and adapt accordingly. Moreover, consistency creates a sense of identity. When you consistently engage in a certain behavior, you begin to see yourself as the type of person who does that thing. This is a powerful motivator. For example, if you consistently write every day, you start to see yourself as a writer. If you consistently work out, you start to see yourself as an athlete. This shift in identity reinforces the behavior, making it easier to stick with it over the long term. You're no longer just trying to achieve a goal, you're embodying the identity of someone who has already achieved it. In a world where instant gratification is often prioritized, consistency reminds us of the importance of patience. We live in a society that glorifies quick fixes and overnight success, but the truth is that anything worth achieving takes time. Consistency requires you to play the long game, to focus on the process rather than the outcome. It teaches you to embrace the journey and trust that your efforts will eventually pay off. It may not happen as quickly as you'd like, but if you stay consistent, it will happen. The people who achieve the most in life are not necessarily the most talented or the smartest. They are the ones who are willing to grind it out day after day until they reach their goals. In conclusion, consistency is the foundation upon which all success is built. It's the quiet force that turns dreams into reality, the steady hand that guides you through challenges, and the daily commitment that compounds into extraordinary results. Without consistency, talent goes unused, potential remains unrealized, and goals remain unachieved. With consistency, however, anything is possible. It is the key to unlocking your full potential and creating the life you truly desire. Success doesn't take breaks. It's a continuous, relentless pursuit, a journey that demands commitment and persistence every single day. The moment you decide to step off the path, even for a brief respite, you risk losing the momentum that propels you forward. Success, in its very essence, is not something that pauses or waits for the perfect time it moves with or without you, depending on how willing you are to keep pushing, to keep grinding, and to stay disciplined. Many people dream of success, but far fewer understand the level of dedication required to truly achieve it. In a world where distractions are plentiful and the temptation to rest is ever present, the decision to keep pushing forward when others pause is what sets the successful apart from the average. Success doesn't care if you're tired, if you're overwhelmed, or if you feel like you've earned a break. It demands that you show up every day, regardless of how you feel or what's happening around you. It's not about working yourself into the ground or burning out. It's about understanding that progress is built on continuous effort. The most successful people are not those who work hard once in a while, but those who make working hard a habit, a daily routine that becomes as natural as breathing. When you look at individuals who have achieved remarkable success, one common trait stands out: their unwillingness to stop. They don't wait for the perfect circumstances or the ideal timing. They don't sit around hoping for motivation to strike. They understand that success is the result of daily, consistent effort over a long period, and while others might take a break, relax, or rest on their laurels, these individuals keep pushing forward. It's not that they never rest, it's that they rest with purpose, knowing that even their downtime serves the larger goal of success. They use their time strategically, always thinking about how their actions today will affect their progress tomorrow. Success doesn't have an off switch. It's not something that you can turn on when you feel inspired and then turn off when you're tired or overwhelmed. The most significant achievements in life come from those who refuse to take breaks from their goals. They understand that every moment matters and that each day is an opportunity to move closer to where they want to be. It's easy to get caught up in the idea of taking a break after all. Everyone needs rest, right? But the truth is, success doesn't wait for you to feel ready. It doesn't wait for you to gather your strength or muster your motivation. It's moving forward, and if you're not willing to keep up, you'll be left behind. There's a certain mentality that separates those who achieve their goals from those who don't. It's a mindset that says, I will do whatever it takes, no matter what. This isn't about working yourself into exhaustion. It's about understanding that progress requires constant movement. You don't have to sprint every day, but you do have to keep moving forward. Taking breaks, especially when they become a habit, leads to stagnation. Stagnation is the enemy of success. The moment you stop, you lose the momentum you've worked so hard to build. And momentum is one of the most powerful forces in the pursuit of success. When you have it, everything seems to come easier. Opportunities appear, challenges seem surmountable, and progress becomes faster. But when you lose it, getting back on track becomes exponentially harder. Think of success as a moving train. When it's in motion, it's powerful, unstoppable even. But when that train comes to a halt, starting it up again takes immense effort. The same is true in your journey towards success. As long as you keep moving, even if it's slow, you maintain momentum. But the moment you stop, it becomes incredibly difficult to regain that forward motion. That's why the most successful people understand that breaks are dangerous. They know that success is a continuous process, one that requires daily attention and effort, regardless of how they feel or what's happening around them. This doesn't mean that you should never rest. Rest is essential for maintaining your health and energy levels. However, it's important to understand the difference between purposeful rest and taking a break from your pursuit of success. Purposeful rest is strategic, it's planned, and it serves to recharge you so that you can come back stronger. It's not an excuse to avoid the hard work that success demands. In contrast, taking a break often means stepping away from your goals, which can lead to a loss of focus, motivation, and ultimately progress. When you're in the pursuit of success, every day counts. The days you choose to take off are days that could have been used to move closer to your goals. Success is about accumulation, the accumulation of effort, time, and discipline. Every hour you spend working towards your goal compounds over time. The more consistently you work, the more those efforts build upon each other, creating a snowball effect that propels you forward at an ever-increasing pace. But if you take too many breaks, you disrupt that accumulation. You lose the compounding effect that consistency brings, and suddenly you find yourself back at square one, wondering why you're not making the progress you expected. This is why the phrase "success doesn't take breaks" is so powerful. It's a reminder that every decision you make matters. The decision to keep going when others stop is what separates those who achieve greatness from those who remain stuck in mediocrity. It's the small, everyday actions that lead to big results over time. Success is not about making one big, heroic effort and then resting on your accomplishments. It's about showing up every single day, putting in the work, and refusing to quit, even when it's hard. One of the most significant challenges in the pursuit of success is dealing with the monotony of consistency. It's easy to stay motivated when you first set a goal. The excitement of working towards something new can carry you through the initial stages. But as time goes on, the grind sets in, the work becomes repetitive, the results seem to come slower, and the temptation to take a break grows stronger. This is the point where most people give up. They take a break thinking they'll get back to it later, but later never comes. They lose their momentum, their discipline, and eventually their drive. But the truly successful understand that the grind is part of the process. They embrace the monotony because they know that it's in those moments of repetitive effort that real progress is made. They push through the boredom, the frustration, and the temptation to quit because they understand that success is not about instant gratification. It's about delayed gratification, the understanding that the rewards come later after the hard work is done. Success doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care if you're tired, if you're busy, or if you're feeling uninspired. It simply rewards those who keep going, who put in the work, and who refuse to take breaks from their goals. This doesn't mean that success is heartless or uncaring. It means that success follows a simple formula. The more you put in, the more you get out. It's as straightforward as that. If you're willing to show up every day and do the work, success will eventually come. But if you take breaks, you're essentially telling yourself and the universe that you're not fully committed to your goals. One of the most important lessons in the pursuit of success is learning to control your impulses. The desire to take a break is often rooted in a lack of discipline. It's easy to convince yourself that you've earned a rest, that you deserve to take a day off. But success is not about what you deserve, it's about what you earn. And you earn success through consistent effort day in and day out. The moment you give in to the temptation to take a break, you're giving up control over your future. You're allowing yourself to be swayed by short-term comfort rather than staying focused on long-term achievement. It's not that successful people never feel the urge to take a break. They do. But they've trained themselves to push through that urge, to keep going even when every fiber of their being is telling them to stop. They've developed the discipline to stay the course no matter how difficult it gets. And that's why they achieve success. Not because they never face challenges, but because they refuse to let those challenges stop them. In the end, the pursuit of success is a test of endurance. It's not about who can sprint the fastest, but who can keep going the longest. It's about outlasting the competition, staying focused when others lose their way, and continuing to push forward when others give up. Success doesn't take breaks, and neither should you. Small actions add up over time. This simple truth is one of the most powerful concepts in life, yet it's often overlooked. We live in a society that tends to glorify big, dramatic gestures, the kind that capture attention and generate instant results. But the reality is, most success stories are not built on sudden breakthroughs or grand actions. They're built on the quiet, consistent, and often unnoticed small steps that, over time, accumulate into something remarkable. It's the small, seemingly insignificant actions repeated day after day, week after week, and year after year that ultimately lead to extraordinary outcomes. While it may be tempting to wait for the perfect moment or the ideal opportunity to make a significant change, the truth is that real progress is made by those who understand the power of small, incremental steps. There's a reason why so many successful individuals emphasize the importance of habits and routines. These are the structures through which small actions accumulate. Every time you make a choice, whether it's to take a step towards your goal or to remain stagnant, you're either moving closer to or further from success. Small actions may seem trivial in the moment, but they have a cumulative effect that compounds over time, much like how tiny deposits in a savings account grow with interest. At first, the results are barely noticeable, and it can feel as if nothing is happening, and this is where many people give up. They expect instant gratification, and when they don't see immediate results, they become discouraged. But those who understand the power of small actions know that success is not about immediate results, it's about long-term growth. Take, for example, the process of learning a new skill. When you start, the progress is slow, sometimes painfully so. Whether it's learning to play an instrument, mastering a new language, or developing a new professional skill, the beginning stages can feel like a struggle. You practice for hours, days, even weeks, and it feels like you're barely improving. But if you continue to practice consistently, even for just a short time each day, something remarkable happens. Over time, the small improvements begin to accumulate. The tasks that once felt difficult start to feel easier. You begin to develop muscle memory, gain confidence, and suddenly all those small incremental actions start to pay off. The key, however, is persistence. Without the daily repetition of small actions, those improvements would never take root. This principle applies to nearly every area of life. Consider fitness as another example. If you were to go to the gym once and work out intensely for hours, you wouldn't see much of a change in your body. But if you committed to working out consistently for just 30 minutes a day, over time, those small workouts would lead to significant physical transformation. It's not the intensity of a single workout that makes the difference, it's the consistency of small efforts repeated over a long period of time. The same can be said for financial success. Saving a small amount of money every day or every week may not seem like much in the short term, but over time, those small deposits grow into something substantial. It's the power of compounding interest. The more consistent you are with your small actions, the greater the rewards over time. The problem is that small actions often don't feel like they matter in the moment. When you choose to skip a workout, for example, it doesn't seem like a big deal. After all, it's just one day, right? But the danger lies in the cumulative effect of consistently choosing not to take action. One skipped workout turns into 2, then 3, and before you know it, you've lost the habit entirely. On the flip side, consistently choosing to take action, no matter how small, leads to the opposite effect. Each day you make the choice to show up. Even for just a few minutes, you're reinforcing the habit. You're building momentum, and with each small action, you're getting closer to your goal. Another challenge is the tendency to compare your progress to others. In today's world of social media, it's easy to see the highlights of someone else's success and feel like you're not doing enough. You see their big achievements and wonder why you're not there yet. But what you don't see is the countless small actions they took to get to that point. Success stories are often presented as overnight accomplishments, but behind every overnight success is a long history of small, consistent actions that led to that breakthrough moment. The key is to focus on your own journey and trust that your small actions will eventually lead to big results. There's also a psychological benefit to focusing on small actions. When you set a large goal, it can feel overwhelming, and that sense of overwhelm can lead to procrastination or even paralysis. But when you break that goal down into small, manageable steps, it suddenly feels more achievable. You're no longer thinking about the end result, you're focused on the next action you need to take. This shift in focus makes it easier to take action, and once you take that first small step, it becomes easier to take the next one. Before you know it, you've built momentum, and that seemingly insurmountable goal starts to feel within reach. Small actions also build confidence. Each time you follow through on a commitment, no matter how small, you're proving to yourself that you're capable of achieving your goals. This builds a sense of self-efficacy, the belief that you have the ability to influence your outcomes through your actions. The more you reinforce this belief through small, consistent actions, the more confident you become in your ability to achieve larger goals. Conversely, when you fail to take action, you erode your confidence. You start to doubt your ability to follow through, and that doubt can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. This is why it's so important to keep taking small actions, even when you don't feel like it. Each small step reinforces the belief that you're moving in the right direction. The beauty of small actions is that they are within everyone's reach. You don't need to wait for the perfect circumstances, the ideal amount of time, or a surge of motivation to start taking small steps toward your goals. All you need to do is start. It doesn't matter how small the action is. What matters is that you're taking action. Over time, those small actions will lead to bigger opportunities, and eventually they will lead to success. It may not happen overnight, but it will happen if you stay consistent. In a world that often glorifies instant results and quick fixes, the power of small actions is a reminder that success is not a destination but a journey. It's the daily choices you make, the small habits you build, and the consistent effort you put in that ultimately determine your success. No matter how big your goal is, it can always be broken down into small steps. And no matter how far away success seems, it's always within reach if you're willing to keep taking those small steps day after day. Over time, those small actions add up in ways that are often greater than the sum of their parts. They create a ripple effect that spreads through every area of your life, leading to growth, progress, and ultimately success. The key is to recognize the value of each small action, to trust the process, and to keep moving forward, even when the progress feels slow. Because in the end, it's not the big, dramatic gestures that create success, it's the small actions repeated consistently over time that make all the difference. Push through difficult moments. It's a phrase we often hear, but how many of us truly understand its significance? Life is filled with challenges, obstacles, and moments where everything seems to be working against you. It's in these moments, when you're at your lowest, when you're tempted to give up, that your true character is revealed. Difficult moments are not just random occurrences, they are opportunities in disguise, testing your resilience, your determination, and your ability to keep moving forward, even when the path ahead seems uncertain. Most people want success, fulfillment, and happiness, but few are willing to endure the pain and discomfort that come with it. Those who succeed are not the ones who avoid difficult moments, they are the ones who push through them. The truth is, every significant achievement in life comes with its fair share of challenges. Whether you're pursuing a personal goal, building a career, or striving to improve yourself, you will inevitably face moments of doubt, frustration, and hardship. These moments are not signs that you should quit, rather they are signals that you are on the right path. The greater the challenge, the greater the reward. Pushing through difficult moments is about understanding that success is not linear. It doesn't come in a straight line where every day is better than the last. Instead, it's a series of ups and downs where the lows can sometimes feel overwhelming, but it's precisely in those low moments that you have the chance to grow the most. When you encounter difficult moments, the natural reaction is often to retreat, to avoid the discomfort, or to seek an easier path. It's human nature to want to escape pain. But the problem with this approach is that avoidance doesn't solve the problem, it only delays the inevitable. Every time you avoid a difficult moment, you reinforce the belief that you're not strong enough to handle it. Over time, this erodes your confidence and makes it even harder to face challenges in the future. On the other hand, when you choose to push through the difficulty, you send a powerful message to yourself that you are capable, that you are resilient, and that no matter how hard things get, you have the strength to endure. Difficult moments come in many forms. Sometimes they are external challenges, financial hardships, health issues, or setbacks in your career. Other times they are internal struggles, self-doubt, fear, or emotional pain. Regardless of the source, the key to overcoming these moments is to change your perspective. Instead of viewing difficult moments as obstacles, see them as opportunities for growth. Every challenge you face is a chance to become stronger, wiser, and more capable. It's not the challenge itself that defines you, but how you respond to it. By pushing through difficult moments, you transform adversity into an opportunity for self-improvement. It's important to understand that pushing through difficult moments doesn't mean ignoring the pain or pretending that everything is okay. It's about acknowledging the difficulty, accepting it, and then making the conscious decision to move forward anyway. This is not easy. In fact, it's one of the hardest things you'll ever do, but it's also one of the most rewarding. Every time you push through a difficult moment, you build mental toughness. You strengthen your ability to handle stress and pressure. And most importantly, you prove to yourself that you are capable of handling whatever life throws at you. One of the reasons difficult moments are so challenging is because they often trigger fear and doubt. When you're faced with a significant obstacle, it's natural to question whether you have what it takes to overcome it. This fear can be paralyzing, making it difficult to take action or even think clearly, but the truth is, fear is a liar. It magnifies the challenge, making it seem bigger and more insurmountable than it really is. The key to pushing through difficult moments is to recognize that fear is just a feeling, it's not reality. You may feel afraid, but that doesn't mean you can't act. In fact, the most courageous people are not those who never feel fear, but those who feel the fear and push through it anyway. In difficult moments, your mind can become your greatest enemy. It will try to convince you that the situation is hopeless, that you're not good enough, or that you're destined to fail. These thoughts are not facts, they are simply stories your mind creates in response to stress. The problem is, if you believe these stories, they can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you tell yourself you're not strong enough, you'll act in ways that reinforce that belief. But if you tell yourself that you are capable, that you can handle this challenge, and that you will come out stronger on the other side, you'll find the strength to keep going. One of the most powerful ways to push through difficult moments is to focus on what you can control. When you're faced with a challenge, it's easy to become overwhelmed by everything that's going wrong. But dwelling on things outside of your control only adds to your stress and frustration. Instead, shift your focus to the things you can control: your attitude, your actions, and your response to the situation. By taking control of these factors, you regain a sense of power and agency, which makes it easier to keep moving forward. No matter how difficult the situation may be, you always have the power to choose your response. It's also important to remember that difficult moments are temporary. No matter how hard things get, they will not last forever. This can be hard to remember when you're in the middle of a challenging situation, but it's a crucial mindset to adopt. When you remind yourself that this too shall pass, it becomes easier to endure the discomfort. You realize that the pain is temporary, but the strength you gain from pushing through it will last a lifetime. Difficult moments may test you, but they also build you. They give you the opportunity to develop resilience, patience, and fortitude, qualities that will serve you well long after the challenge has passed. In the midst of difficult moments, it's easy to feel isolated, as though you're the only one going through this struggle. But the truth is, everyone faces difficult moments at some point in their life. You are not alone in your struggles, and recognizing this can provide comfort and perspective. Even the most successful people, the ones who seem to have it all together, have faced their fair share of challenges. The difference is not that they avoided difficulty, but that they learned to push through it. They embraced the discomfort, knowing that it was part of the process of growth. One of the most valuable lessons you can learn from pushing through difficult moments is that you are stronger than you think. It's easy to underestimate your own strength and resilience, especially when you're in the midst of a tough situation. But every time you push through a difficult moment, you prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. You realize that the limits you once thought you had are not real, they are simply barriers created by your mind. By pushing through those barriers, you expand your sense of what is possible. You become more confident, more resilient, and more capable of handling whatever challenges come your way. There will be times when the difficulty seems overwhelming, when it feels like you can't take another step. In these moments, it's crucial to remember your why. Why did you start this journey in the first place? What are you working toward? When you connect with your deeper purpose, it gives you the strength to keep going even when the road gets tough. Your why serves as a source of motivation, reminding you that the discomfort is temporary, but the rewards are long-lasting. Whether your goal is personal growth, professional success, or something else entirely, keeping your why at the forefront of your mind will help you push through even the most challenging moments. It's also helpful to break the challenge down into smaller, more manageable steps. When you're faced with a significant obstacle, it can feel overwhelming to think about everything you need to do to overcome it. But by breaking it down into smaller steps, you make the task more manageable. Instead of focusing on the entire mountain, focus on the next step. What's the one thing you can do right now to move forward? By taking it one step at a time, you make progress, and that progress builds momentum. Each small step forward brings you closer to overcoming the challenge, and before you know it, you've pushed through the difficult moment. Finally, it's important to acknowledge and celebrate your victories, no matter how small they may seem. Pushing through difficult moments is not easy, and every step forward is a victory. By acknowledging your progress, you reinforce the belief that you are capable of handling challenges. This builds confidence and resilience, making it easier to face future difficulties. Celebrate the fact that you didn't give up, that you kept going even when things were hard. These small victories add up over time, and they serve as reminders that you are stronger and more capable than you realize. Difficult moments are an inevitable part of life, but they do not define you. What defines you is how you choose to respond to them. By pushing through difficult moments, you not only overcome the challenge at hand, but you also build the strength and resilience needed to face future challenges with confidence. You prove to yourself that no matter how hard things get, you have the power to keep going. And in the process, you become the kind of person who can achieve great things. Build momentum through daily habits. It's a phrase that encapsulates a fundamental truth about success, progress, and personal growth. We often think of success as a destination, a point at which we finally achieve what we've been striving for. But the reality is, success is more like a process, a series of small, consistent actions that over time create a powerful force. That force is momentum, and it's what carries you forward even when you face challenges, distractions, or setbacks. Momentum doesn't come from one big push or an occasional burst of effort. It's built steadily, brick by brick, through the habits you engage in every day. The concept of daily habits is often misunderstood. Many people view habits as mundane, repetitive tasks that are done without much thought. But habits are far more than that. They are the building blocks of your life, the automatic behaviors that determine much of your success or failure. When you build the right habits, you don't have to rely on willpower or motivation to get things done. Your habits take over, guiding your actions and moving you toward your goals almost effortlessly. This is why it's so important to develop habits that align with your aspirations. Once a habit is ingrained, it becomes a part of your identity. It's no longer something you have to force yourself to do. It's simply who you are. Momentum, on the other hand, is the result of consistency. It's the cumulative effect of repeated actions day in and day out. Imagine trying to push a car that's stuck in place. At first, it's difficult to get it moving. You have to put in a lot of effort just to budge it an inch. But once the car starts to move, it gets easier to push. The car gains momentum, and eventually it's rolling along with far less effort than it took to get it started. The same is true with habits. In the beginning, building new habits can feel like pushing a car that's stuck. It requires discipline, focus, and sometimes a lot of willpower. But as you stick with it, those habits start to take root, and over time, they create momentum that makes it easier to keep going. One of the reasons daily habits are so effective is because they allow you to make progress incrementally. Instead of trying to achieve everything at once, you break your goals down into small, manageable steps. These steps may seem insignificant on their own, but when repeated consistently over time, they add up to significant results. This is the power of compounding. Just like compound interest in a savings account, small efforts repeated consistently yield exponential returns. Each day that you engage in your habits, you're making a deposit into your future success. It may not seem like much at first, but over time, those deposits grow into something substantial. The beauty of daily habits is that they don't require extraordinary effort. You don't have to make massive changes to see results. In fact, trying to make drastic changes all at once can be counterproductive. When you set goals that are too ambitious or unrealistic, it's easy to get overwhelmed and give up. But when you focus on small, consistent actions, habits that you can stick to over the long term, you set yourself up for success. It's not about doing everything perfectly. It's about showing up every day and making incremental progress. Building momentum through daily habits is also about creating a sense of rhythm and routine in your life. When you engage in the same positive behaviors every day, you establish a routine that grounds you and gives structure to your day. This routine acts as an anchor, helping you stay focused and on track, even when life gets hectic. Instead of constantly reacting to the demands of the day, you become proactive, guiding your actions based on the habits you've cultivated. This sense of routine not only helps you stay consistent, but it also reduces the mental energy required to make decisions. When your habits are automatic, you free up mental space to focus on other important tasks. Momentum is not just about making progress, it's about sustaining that progress over the long term. One of the most common reasons people fail to achieve their goals is because they lose momentum. They start off strong, but over time their enthusiasm wanes and they lose sight of their objectives. This is where daily habits come in. Habits create a sense of accountability. When you've committed to a habit, even on days when you don't feel motivated, the habit itself pulls you forward. It's no longer a question of whether you'll do the work, it's simply part of your routine. This consistency is what keeps you moving forward even when external motivation fades. Another key to building momentum through daily habits is understanding the importance of small wins. Every time you follow through on a habit, no matter how small, you're reinforcing a positive behavior. These small wins create a sense of accomplishment and build confidence. Over time, they accumulate into larger victories, and before you know it, you're achieving things that once seemed impossible. The key is to focus on progress, not perfection. It's not about doing everything right every single day, it's about making steady progress and building on your successes. One of the most powerful aspects of daily habits is their ability to shape your identity. When you consistently engage in a behavior, it becomes a part of who you are. For example, if you make it a habit to exercise every day, you start to see yourself as someone who values health and fitness. This shift in identity reinforces the habit, making it easier to stick with it over the long term. The same is true for other habits. When you make reading, learning, or practicing a skill a part of your daily routine, you begin to see yourself as someone who values growth and self-improvement. This shift in identity is crucial for sustaining momentum. It's no longer about forcing yourself to engage in certain behaviors, it's simply a reflection of who you are. Daily habits also help you build resilience. Life is unpredictable, and there will be times when things don't go as planned. You may face setbacks, challenges, or unexpected obstacles. In these moments, it's easy to lose momentum and fall off track. But when you have strong daily habits in place, they act as a safety net. Even if everything else feels chaotic, your habits provide a sense of stability. They give you something to hold on to, a reminder that you're still in control of your actions, even when external circumstances are beyond your control. This resilience is what allows you to bounce back from setbacks and keep moving forward. One of the most common misconceptions about momentum is that it's something that only happens during moments of high energy or motivation. But the truth is, momentum is built in the quiet, unglamorous moments of daily life. It's built in the early mornings when you choose to get up and work on your goals, even when you'd rather stay in bed. It's built in the late nights when you push yourself to finish that last task, even when you're tired. Momentum doesn't come from big, dramatic gestures. It comes from the small, consistent actions that you take every day, no matter how mundane they may seem. The great thing about momentum is that once you've built it, it becomes easier to maintain. In the beginning, it may feel like you're putting in a lot of effort for very little reward. But as your habits take root and momentum builds, the effort required to sustain it decreases. This is because of the power of automation. Once a habit is ingrained, it requires less conscious effort to maintain. You don't have to think about it, you just do it. This frees up energy and willpower to focus on other areas of your life, allowing you to build momentum in multiple areas simultaneously. It's also important to remember that not all habits are created equal. Some habits have a ripple effect, positively influencing other areas of your life. These are often referred to as keystone habits. For example, exercise is a keystone habit because it doesn't just improve your physical health, it also boosts your mental clarity, increases your energy levels, and improves your mood. When you establish keystone habits, they create positive momentum that spills over into other areas of your life. This is why it's so important to choose habits that align with your overall goals and values. The right habits can create a virtuous cycle where one positive action leads to another, and momentum builds exponentially. Building momentum through daily habits also requires patience. It's easy to get discouraged when you don't see immediate results. But just like planting a seed, the fruits of your labor take time to grow. In the early stages, it may feel like your efforts are going unnoticed, but beneath the surface, progress is happening. Each time you engage in a habit, you're strengthening neural pathways in your brain, making it easier to repeat the behavior in the future. Over time, these pathways become stronger and the habit becomes automatic. It's a slow process, but the results are worth the wait. The key is to trust the process and stay committed, even when the progress is not immediately visible. It's also important to periodically reassess your habits. As you grow and evolve, your goals and priorities may change. What worked for you in the past may no longer be serving you. By regularly evaluating your habits, you can make adjustments as needed to ensure that they're still aligned with your long-term vision. This doesn't mean you need to overhaul your entire routine often. Small tweaks are enough to keep you on track. The goal is to continually refine your habits so that they continue to serve you and support your momentum.